Hey, 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 welcome back, guys. Welcome back, welcome back. Come on back with me here. Hey, listen, if you're joining me, say hi. We are back. We are doing this. My picture always looks a little crooked. Let me fix that. Hey, it's good to have you guys back on a Dig Deeper Wednesday. This is your book review week. We're in a series right now. That series is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yes, written by Covey. And there's some things I want to talk about that book. If you don't have that book and you're just joining us right now, you should absolutely get a copy of that book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it is written by Covey, and you can get it just about anywhere. I think it is important to know that all success is driven by habits and good habits. And so if you're just joining us, I will talk a little bit about what we've been covering and where we've gone inside this habit situation of the book. And those habits are from personal habits or personal victories, they call it, to public victories. And we're moving into the public victory side of this. And so we're going to dig into that in just a minute. So, hey, if you're coming on, say hi, say good morning wherever you're at. Good afternoon if you're over on the East Coast. Love to have you, love to hear from you. I'll take some questions this morning from you as you're coming on board. And also, let me know if you're brand new. I'd love to say hi to you if you're new. Edward says, hey there, Zack. No vest today. No, Edward, I am known to be the vest guy. I have a whole bunch of vests, but I don't have one on today. Good call, Edward. Michelle says, good morning, Zack and Jill. Yes, it's just me in the studio on Wednesdays. Jill is with us on Tuesdays. For those of you that are just joining us and maybe have never been on here before, we go live all week to help you guys get better at what you're doing. Our Tuesday shows are at 1:30 Eastern time zone, and it's all about real estate investing talk. It's everything about real estate. We're in a 24-week series right now talking about different components of real estate and how you can become successful by following those components, and really just to get to know us as a company, as a team, me as your coach, because I am a coach. I'm a real estate investing coach because I'm a real estate investor out in the market doing deals, and that's going to bring me to another topic that I'm going to talk to you guys about. So that's important to know. But that's on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we do Dig Deeper. And Dig Deeper could be a book series that we're into, like right now, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Covey. It could be another book. We tend to start the year off with book reviews to get everybody kind of understanding that, you know, for you to grow your business, you've got to kind of change some habits. You got to kind of change the way you think. Because of how you've been thinking has only gotten you so far in life. So we have to move out of that realm and start to change how we think about things and how we move through the process. So we start the year off that way. But we also dig deeper into experts. We do interviews with experts in our Dig Deeper show, all kinds of cool stuff. And so I'm excited about those. Angel's back on here with us again today. My New Yorker's in the house. Hey, Angel. Michelle says, I love the new studio, but you may want to get a heater for Jill on Tuesday. It gets a little hot in here, okay? We're all lit up in here, so these lights definitely spin off heat. So it's good to have you on here. But for those of you that are just joining us, yes, my name is Zack Childress. I am your real estate coach. I am here to help you. You've got to participate. The biggest thing you can do for me is participation. Ask questions, things that you're working on, things that you need help with. Talk about it. Let me talk about it with you. Let me engage with you and kind of see how I can help you. Because this is live, which means that if I fall out of this chair, we can't cut it. It is what it is. So I'm happy to support you guys guys in any way that I can. I'm just happy you guys are on this page and you're sharing in the growth of what we've been doing and how we've been helping people. I'm also excited to let you guys know that we do it every week. So come one, come all, come join us, be part of the show, ask questions, participate with us, and just know this is our Wednesdays Dig Deeper. Tuesdays is our real estate show. So with that said, let's see if you guys got questions for me, type them in. I'd be happy to answer them. If you have anything with real estate, I'll still answer them today. But we're going to dig into the book in just a minute, but one of the things that I want to enlighten you guys about is some of the things that we're going to be rolling out here. So you guys know that have been with us for a while that we do the Tuesday show, we do the Wednesday show. So the next thing that I really want to do is I want to start taking you guys out in the field with me. I want to start, really broadcasting from the field and going live in the field, and maybe taking a Thursday. So we do Tuesday real estate, Wednesday dig deeper, and maybe Thursdays we start going out in the field together to where, I'll take you in the car with me. I'll take you driving around with me. We're going to go look at houses together. I'll let you guys give me input, some of the things you might have questions about, talk about deals that I'm actually looking at, whether I'm going to buy them, make offers on them, or if I've already bought them, so that you guys can be part of that exterior journey and not just in the room or in the studio learning, but actually taking you out in the field. So if that's something that you would like to, if you would like for us to roll out, I'd just like to hear your comments on it. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. If you'd like us to really kind of start another show where you're out in the field with me, I think that could add value to you guys. We're doing it already, so why not tag along, right? If it's something that you're interested in, I'd like to hear. When are you going to Tart? That would be amazing, Edward says. Awesome. Start, Michelle says. Well, not sure. We may start it next week. We may start it the week after. It just really depends on the feedback that we get from all of our viewers, our students, our followers, and kind of, do they want to participate 3 days a week in me, right? I know 1 day a week of me can be enough for some people, but 3 days a week could be putting it out there. So DeMercer says, hey, Zach, Charles DeMercer here. Way to go, Charles, for being on here. That would be very helpful, Greg says. Way to go, Greg. Michelle says, wahoo, to see you in action would be amazing. Awesome. Edward says, 8 days a week. Angel says, start in New York. You want me to come up to New York and do it with you? Ignacio says, I will be shy on the beginning, but it would be awesome. That's okay, man. We all need to start somewhere, right? And I think it's important that we acknowledge that. So that's cool, man. I'm glad you guys like that. So, hey, look, I don't want to keep you too long today. If you've been following the book review, then you've been engaged with us. I hope you've been enjoying this book review of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. As you can see on the screen there, you should get a copy of this book. I mean, this is just an amazing book. I've gotten some feedback from a lot of you that you're still trying to consume this, like you're still trying to go through it, because the last 3 weeks we went through the 3 habits. And those 3 habits are something that you need to be working on, because the first 3 habits are all about personal victories. And just to recap with you, the first 3 habits, if you're just joining us and you're not clear what those habits are, habit 1 was about being proactive. And being proactive doesn't just mean cleaning your desk up and being prepared for the next day, but being proactive was really about a personal victory. It was about coming to the understanding of, how do I think about things? How do I live in an aware state? How do I make sure that when I get stimulated, how do I move that stimulation into an aware state before I make an action and then take action, so that I'm not just being reactive to everything, but I'm being proactive. I'm really processing the information. I'm really thinking about what do I want the outcome to be, because that led us into habit 2, which was beginning with the end in mind. And I love this about habit 2, because habit 2 was all about you thinking about, and he starts the chapter off with a great question, which was, if you were laying in a casket, what would you want people to say about you after you were dead and gone? And that is really about living with the end in mind. Is about, where do I want my life to be? What do I want people to say about me when I'm gone? I want people to say I was a great Christian, and I was a great father, and I was a great friend, and I was a great leader, and I helped people, and I made a difference in this world. Those are things that I would want people to say about me. I don't want people to say, oh, he was successful. Well, successful is not the word that I really see as my life, right? Yes, I've had a lot of success in my life, but I don't want people to say, oh, he was just successful. But I want people to really understand what success really meant for me, right? Success for me was really about me being successful in my relationships with my children, my parents, my friends, my coworkers, me being a successful leader, leading people to where they wanted to go. Also just, being successful and helping others and making a difference in the world. Those are the things that, I strive every day to make sure that I'm thinking about the end in mind. And I think that's really important. And also what he talks about thinking the end in mind in habit 2 was about, there's always 2 creations, right? There's the first creation, which is how we perceive our life to be, what we want our life to be. And then the second creation is when we start to actually execute that creation, right? And he uses an analogy of building a house. Like in the first creation, we lay the blueprint out, right? Like we know where we want the rooms to be, where the kitchen's going to be, where the bathrooms are going to be. We create it in our mind first, and then we move into the actual construction of it, the building process of it. So if you really think about that, we've been told that a lot in our life, like believe it and you will receive it, right? And that's that first creation. So even though as much as I like that, believe it and you'll receive it, I also know that there's a missing part. You can't just believe it and then receive it. You have to believe it and then take the actions necessary to receive it, which is where he moves us into habit 3, which is putting first things first. And I love that part of it, because in First Things First, he really makes you understand that you have to have small victories, and you have to start thinking about, what are the 4 quadrants that you're working in. And those quadrants are really about important stuff and urgent, and not important but urgent, right? And we tend to live in quadrants that are very reactive and not proactive, and are really about getting you in the right mindset to be working on the things that need to be worked on right now to get you to the end in mind that you're starting with. And so with all of that, it encompasses the personal or the private victories. When you can achieve those, and when you can really spend time working on those and working through those private victories, it leads you or moves you into what's called an interdependence state. What is interdependence, right? Well, Stephen Covey has a lot of great ways of explaining it, but I'm going to kind of give you my input on it. I think interdependence means that if we're winning in our private victories, being proactive, thinking with the end in mind, and putting first things first in our life, we're really in control of our independence. We're in control of who we are. We're in control of the life we want. We're in control of who we let in. We're in control of our aware state of being. We're in control of all of that. And listen, moving into an interdependent state, which he talks about before habit 4, is really a clarity that you have to get to before you can move into public victories. Because I'll say it like this. If we're not really in control of our private victories, when we move into public victories, we are always seeking approval from others. We're seeking our awareness from others. We're seeking our good job from others and that a boy from others. And we're seeking information from others to make us happy. And he talks about this in habit 1 under being proactive about a lot of times in life, we're not living in an aware state of who we are and what we want and where we're going because we're too busy looking at the reflection that others have of us. And when we're doing that, we're not really truly building a process of being in an interdependent state, being internalized, thinking about how we react to things, how we want our life to be, what is the most important things to us. That's all private victories. So I encourage you, before you move into the public victories, to really think, are you in control of how you think? Are you in control of your actions? Are you in control of your state? Because those are what will actually control your independence, right? Your internal independence, right? There's a lot of people that will say, oh, I'm independent, but they'll seek approval from others because they misperceive the word independence, right? A lot of people think independence is, oh, I pay my own bills. I don't need help from you. But that's not what independence really is. An inter-independence is really about being in control of your own actions, being in control of how you think, being in control of your aware state, being in control of how you want to live your life and not living your life based on others, being in control of what's important to you and not what other people perceive that needs to be important to you, right? That's part of that process. There's a great book. I don't know if I'll do a book review on it or not, but it's called, it's written by Spencer Johnson. Oh, there it is. It's called The 1 Minute Manager. And that book is great. It really is, because it's about you being in control of your time, being in an interdependent state of your time and your awareness and remembering, look, I can't just keep having 5-minute meetings here and there. Listen, you guys that know me and people that work with me know I'm not a big fan of meetings all the time. I think having a meeting every day is a waste of time. Honestly, I do. I think it really pushes people away from them becoming independent because you're constantly having meetings with people to check in, balance things. I think you have to, look, if you're going to have a weekly meeting, that's great. Hey, here's the checks and balances. Here's where we are. Here's where we're going. Boom. All right, let's check back next week, make sure we're hitting our goals, right? That's a goal-driven type of meeting. I'm all for those. I'm all for post meetings and pre-meetings of, like, say you've got a rehab going on. Well, I'm all about meeting with your team before the rehab, and I'm all about meeting with your team after the rehab to see what you could have did right and what you could have did wrong. I'm also about having weekly meetings. But I'm not a big fan of these constant meetings every day. Every day, let's have a meeting. Because here's why. If you have to have a meeting with someone every day to get them to see the bigger picture, then you're being more of a parent to a child than you are a leader or a influencer, right? They need to be able to do it on their own. I don't meet with my customer support team every day. I don't meet with my student advisors every day. I just don't do it. Why? Because they need to have independence of themselves to be able to go. I'm all about having weekly meetings, and as should you with your team as you build your team in real estate. It's important to know that there are powers when you are in control of your own state and not allowing other people to try to pull from that state. That's something that you need to be aware of, okay? Some of the most successful people I know have meetings, but they don't have meetings every day. Right? They have what's called checks and balance meetings. Here's what I expect. Here's what you need to do. I'm checking back in next week to make sure you accomplished it. But if I've got to sit down with you every day and say, hey, look, you got to do this today, and I got to sit down with you tomorrow. You got to do this today. Then really, I'm a parent to you as a child. That's what it is. I have meetings with my children every day. Why? Because I got to remind them, you got to clean your room. You got to do your homework. You got to do all these things, but why do I meet with my children every day on these meetings? Even when they go visit their mom, I call them. Hey, you got homework today. Make sure you do your homework. Because they're not in a state yet to build their own habits, right? When we're adults, we have the ability to do what? Build our own habits, okay? So think about that. You should be having that conversation with yourself on a regular basis. Are you in a position to lead yourself first? If you are, then you can lead others. And let me tell you something, in real estate investing, you are leading others. You're leading your contractors, you're leading your bird dogs, your wholesalers, you're leading your bankers, you're leading your closing attorneys. You're leading everybody into the path in which you want to grow your business. And so you've got to get that, embrace that real good. So, all right, let's see what else we got coming through here. Boom, boom, boom. Enjoy every time I get to join in. You are a great motivator. Thanks, Meredith. I was one of your VIP guys in the front. I know, Charles. Was just in the event in LA. Yes, sir. Toby says, I lived a good life in my retirement years. Faith without work is dead. Toby says, dependent state. Interdependent. That's the key, Toby. Interdependent, okay? Not just dependent. I've got a mandatory meeting at 2 p.m. What are we having a meeting for now? Well, then get to your meeting if you have to go. Edward says, might as well save the money and do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying. That's the wrong thing to look at. So here's the thing, Edward. Listen to me real carefully. I'm about to come down on you right now. And I hope that I'm wrong with your statement. But the wrong thing that you can say is let me just save the money and do it myself. That's like the worst thing you could say, because what you're saying is that my value to grow this company isn't greater than what I pay someone else to do the job. So when you look at it from a state and you say, well, I would not rather pay them, I'd just rather do it myself, then basically you're saying, let's say you were going to use a floor guy. You're basically saying that I'm worth what I pay that floor guy to do that. And let's say that job's going to take you 4 hours, where in 4 hours you could have built yourself a $100,000 pipeline. You could have been making phone calls, finding deals, creating relationships where you secured 4 deals that are going to pay you $100,000 off of that, right? So you're saying, when you say I might as well save the money and do it myself, you're saying that your value that you hold of yourself is less than what you value that floor guy. So where you might save $2,000 with that floor guy to go lay that floor for 4 hours, you just took 4 hours out of your entrepreneurship to build a pipeline of more deals, which will pay you more in the long run. And that's the concept that we do these Dig Deeper shows, to help people understand value of time, really mindset of how they think about things. I could have never grown all the companies that I have if I would have not have said, you know what, I would rather just pay someone to do it so that I can focus on the business. I can focus on growing the business, focus on more leads, focus on raising more money. That's a big concept that a lot of people have to overcome. It also takes us into habit 4, which is about win-win. You know, how do we create win-wins? And we have to think about win-wins when we're looking at our business and our life and how we grow, because, you know, win-win is not me saying, oh, I will take that job on to save expenses. That's not a win-win. That's a win, right? That's just a win. I'm only going to win by saving those expenses. And so, you know, I want you to think about that, Edward, and hopefully that made a little bit more sense for you. Ian says, tell him, Zack. Thank you, Ian. The one, the only, the myth and the legend, Ian Flanagan is watching us today. Everybody say hi to Ian. Toby says, no, I need to hear this. Carly says, funny, we just talked about the I'm going to do it myself guys this morning. But if I have to, wait a minute. But if I have to have meetings every day, he is not worth the money I'm paying him, right? Right, Edward. You're spot on, but that doesn't mean you do it yourself. That means what? That you hire someone else to do it. You find the right person for the position. I didn't say anything about not firing someone. Listen, if a contractor can't get the job done, you fire them. Or if anyone in your team can't get the job done, you fire them. I mean, it's just the nature of how life works. You can't expect to obtain a position that you're being paid for if you're not performing at the highest level, right? And that's number one rule in any business. You hire slowly and you fire fast, right? What I'm saying is that you shouldn't move into that and do it yourself. But if they can't perform, then yes, you get rid of them. So, Let's see what we got here. Yo, Ian in the house. That's right, Charles. He's in the house. Ignacio says, hey, Ian. Steve says, hey, Zack and Jill. Steve from Florida Tribe. Our Florida group's in the house. So let's talk about this. So like I said, I may keep you guys on here about another 15 minutes. Habit 4 is something that you got to really process internally before you can execute it externally. That's why it's called a public victory, right? Habit 4 is called win-win, and it is a public victory because why? It's not personal. You can't win-win yourself. Right? You can't win-win yourself. You can only win-win with others. You got to win-win in life. You got to win-win in business. And I'll give you an example. This is why I love real estate. Is real estate a win-win business model? I'll ask you guys that. You can answer it. You can answer that. You like that? I got my little happy faces.
That's awesome!
Yes! That's why, absolutely. Good job, guys. Real estate is a win-win. It is absolutely a win-win. It is a win-win. And you know what, Edward, you're right, if you want it to be. But why I love real estate is because it is so much a win-win situation where basically it's all kinds of wins, right? Where I can go out and help let's say somebody's facing foreclosure. Let's just talk about that for a minute. Let's say somebody's helping going in foreclosure. They're going to have a foreclosure on their credit. It could kill their credit score. It could do all kinds. They could even get a judgment on them if they're in a judgment state. But if we step in and we're able to buy that house from them or clean up their arrearages or their back payments to be able to take possession of that property, the beauty of that is we just help them in their situation. And did it help us? Yeah, it helped us absolutely because now we've got something that we can profit on. Now here's the other side. Now let's say I go fix it up and I sell it for less than what other houses are selling for. I've created a win on the other side. Same thing with like seller financing type deals, especially like sandwich seller financing type deals. This is why I love like sandwich lease options. Because I'm helping a seller out, which is a win. I'm helping myself out because I'm able to create a sandwich, which means I can profit from it. And I'm able to help a tenant buyer out because they can't get a loan from a bank right now because their credit's low, but they want ownership. So that's a win-win, win-win. I'm creating multiple win-wins. And the reality is when you look at business from a win-win type of mindset, and how do I best explain this? I explain it by this. When you look at business from a win-win, you don't come into it selfishly. And I can tell you over the years of starting businesses and being in business, one of the things that have helped me grow tremendously, like literally helped me grow into all the businesses that I'm in today, is the win-win mentality where I didn't always come into it saying, what's in it for me? I didn't always come into it saying, what are you going to do for me? I came into it with the idea of saying, what do you need help with? How can I help you? What can I do for you? How can I be a service to you? How can I add value to you? And in return, I looked to see if I could also win from me providing a win to the person that I was with, right? And when you live in that state, when you live in the let me be abundant, let me share, like for instance, these Facebook Lives, I don't have to do these. You know what I mean? I don't have to sit in here and do this. I mean, I do enjoy it. I enjoy helping you guys and listening to your comments and talking to you and getting to know you. I enjoy that. But this is a win-win. How can I bring value to you? And in return, do you bring value to me? Yes, you absolutely do. You bring value by making it very clear what we're doing is for a good cause, making it very clear that, you know, when we have new students that want to work with us and they come on these Facebook Lives and they hear you guys that have been with us for a while and all the great comments you say and how you welcome new people, that's a win, right? Because they see that they're in a good community. And I created that by not asking you for something. I created that by simply saying, I'm going to bring value every single week and let people just partake in it. That's a win-win. So you need to really stop and think real quick. What are the things in your life that you're looking at that you're saying to yourself, how do I win-win in this? How do I add value so that they win and then I win too? Instead of looking at it and saying, well, what are you going to do for me first? Well, what are you going to give me first? Here's the reality. Do people do that in business? Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Without a shadow of a doubt, they do it. Do they keep long-term relationships being that way? Probably not, right? Probably not, because the person they're working with is always like, look, that guy's in it for himself. He's in it for himself. He's in it for himself. Or she's in it for herself. She's in it for herself. And not really saying, you know what? That Zack guy, he came over and he did all this stuff. Listen, when I first became a speaker, I used to fly out to events on my dollar, and I used to just go there to add value. I would just go up and teach for an hour or so. No one ever paid me. I never sold a product at those events. I just went to add value, to enlighten students that it is possible, that I was where they were and you can make it happen, and add value to these other seminar companies, so that I wanted to be a speaker one day. And I knew that was a journey for me to help change lives, but I needed to get out there and do it. From doing that and adding value and going out there and never asking for anything, ultimately, people started hearing about it, and they started saying, well, hey, why don't you come talk in my room? Hey, why don't you come help us with this? Hey, you seem like a guy that knows what's going on. Hey, will you come to my office and talk to my coaches? Can you do this? Next thing you know, I ended up being a consultant in the seminar industry on helping people build programs to help students in long term. From there, yes, I became a speaker. I became one of the top speakers in our industry. Got many rewards. I mean, I got them over here on my shelf from being, #1 speaker in our industry over years. But I never went into it saying, well, what are you going to pay me to come speak for you? What are you going to do for me to come do this for you? I always said, let me add value. Let me come and serve. And I think that comes back to my faith, right? My Christian upbringing. A lot of people go to churches, and I'm just going to go off on this for a minute with you. A lot of people go to a church and they say, how can you help me? How can you help me, church? Right? And I learned, and I used to do the same thing. Then I learned a long time ago that was the wrong question to ask. I started going to my church saying, how can I help you? How can I bring value to you? How can I be a servant to the church? What can I do to help the church? I started coming at it from that approach. And next thing you know, I became a youth leader. And now I'm a youth minister for 4th grade at the church. And let me tell you something, it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. By coming in with, how can I help you? I've gotten so much more out of it. I've gotten so much more fulfillment, so much more rewards. I've learned so many different things just by understanding the different way to approach the situation. That's life. That's the win-win habit. That's the habit that Stephen Covey keeps talking about. And the first step in public victories is win-win, is being able to provide the value first, being able to come in and say, how can I help you? And in return, I will be helped along that journey. That's understanding the habit win-win. That's thinking differently, creating that habit. I can't tell you how many people I've met over my business journey and my business life of 16 plus years. And I don't do business with them because they came at me all wrong. They came at me with the idea of, more of a win for them instead of and here's the thing, I'm not looking for people to always tell me how they're going to help me, because I'll be the first to help you in many situations. And so it's not that that's what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is how people are in life. Like, are they living in an aware state? Are they in the right habits? Are they processing information correctly? Or are they looking at it from one side? I'll give you a prime example. I had someone reach out to me the other day wanting to do some stuff with my my education side of the company. And all they were doing was coming at me saying, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. They skipped the whole relationship phase. They never once started on the relationship side. They never once got to know me. They just came right at me thinking that what they had to offer me was what I wanted. And it wasn't. Look, they were like, well, I can save you money. And I'm like, well, loyalty is more important to me than saving a couple of $1,000s, right? Loyalty. Why? Because that's a win-win for me. Loyalty is a win-win for me. I will stick it out with somebody until the very end if they are showing that they're in it to win it with me and they're in a win-win situation. I can't tell you. I've got people that were, have been with me from the bottoms to back up to, riding it out. And why am I going to go save a couple of $1,000s over that, right? That's not win-win. Here's the other thing. Public victories are driven around the response that you give in the public domain, in the public world. And that's how people are going to perceive you out there. So it's very important that you understand that when you're looking at this from a public point of view, that when you come into this with a win-win personality and a mindset, it's just going to lead you through the other two habits. And it's such a great way that he's positioned these from a win-win to then seeking, or habit 5, which is seeking first to understand someone before they understand you. That is very incongruent with win-win, right? Because if I'm just trying to get you to understand me, then the problem is you never really understand me. And there's never really a win-win. Now, we're going to talk about that next week, seeking to understand before being understood. But the prime example is of the person I was talking to that wanted to save me money in my events and how they could, do things different. They never once tried to seek to understand me. They only wanted me to understand them and the pitch they were bringing at me. And that's the wrong way, guys. I can't tell you how many times in life I've gotten somebody's business by never once asking them for the business. I know that sounds totally offbeat, right? And any great sales professional will tell you have to ask for the business. But there's a time and place for it, right? I've always tried to live in the win-win mindset and to seek to understand. Because if I can seek to understand them, then I know just like a seller, guys. This is so important for you in real estate to understand with sellers. If we go into it with a win-win mindset and we go into it with a seek to understand them first, then we will have a better chance of getting them to acknowledge that the offer we're making or the presentation we're giving them to help them in their current situation is vital. And it has more impact than someone just coming in and saying, hey, here's what I'll pay you for your house. Either take the offer or hit the road. That's somebody that doesn't understand. That's somebody that doesn't understand relationships, win-win. They don't understand any of that. So let's see here. What have we got coming through? Man, we got a lot coming through. Edward says, clean up the community. Yes, that's a win-win. Absolutely, that's a win-win. Cleaning up the community is a win-win, okay? James says, you're doing a win-win right now for me. Pow, 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 right? That's what it's about, James. Charles says, feels great to be able to help one another, and Zack has created that for many. Thanks, Charles. That's what we're all about, right? Is trying to get that message out there. Edward says, let's see here. Edward says, I'm working on getting information on about 12 vacant houses within a mile of my house. Edward, that's a good deal, man. They're vacant. The question I have is what are you paying for them? How much is it going to cost to get them rent ready or resell, retail? And what's the actual resale price on them? I mean, there's some more questions to that, but that's a great dig, man, especially that close to your house. So Toby says, I'm sorry, guys. Hi, everyone. Okay. Steve says, if you help enough others get what they want or need, you'll get it in return. Win-win. The best quote of all is written, by Zig Ziglar, and that's what it's about. Help enough people get what they want out of life, and you'll get everything you want. I don't know if I quoted it exactly, but that's what it's about. Meredith says it's called having a servant heart. Well, never referred to it that way, Meredith, but I like that. Charles says, better to give than receive, but you receive much more by giving. Charles, there's so much to this. I'll never forget one of my early mentors in life. When I was in California, was working with me on some strategies on working in the California market. And he used to always tell me, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't say anything to anybody. Don't tell anybody where you're getting anything. Don't say nothing. Just don't say a word, he would say to me. And I thought, okay, well, man, this must be top secret. I probably shouldn't share this information. And I didn't go very far with him, honestly. When I got another mentor that basically was just the opposite. He was like, Zack, it's an abundant world. Like, you should be telling everybody what you do so that they bring you deals and they bring you leads and you work their leads and let everybody know what's going on. Share. I did almost $1 million that year with that mentor. I was just short of $1 million. It still irks me in the rear end that I didn't go over $1 million. But it was the difference of an abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset. It's the difference of thinking win-win instead of just me. It's the difference of thinking, well, how could other people help me? Listen, my businesses have exploded by that theory. I'll give you an example. My local real estate investors association. I'm the president of this association. I own it. Basically it's a for-profit, even though we lose money every year from it. It's a for-profit. That's one business that is definitely a lost leader for me. But there's more to the story, okay? So my local real estate investors association that I'm the president of, I go there every month and I give value. I add value. I teach. I share every month. I bring people in to talk to them. We don't sell products there. We just teach and share, because here's why. We lose money on the actual RIA, but the win-win is that all the people that come know that I'm a buyer, so they just bring deals in, and I get to cherry pick and buy the deals that I want from my own RIA members. That's living in an abundant state, sharing that information at my local RIA. Yeah, they pay a door fee to get in, but when you take in consideration what it costs to keep the websites up and the space and all the things that go along with it, we don't make money from that thing. Not at all. And I don't ever intend to make money that way. I intend that RIA to be a marketing machine for me. Anyways, that's a little inside tip for you. Alex says, excellent. Absolutely. Alex also says, because of you, I was able to quit my job last week. 3 deals in 6 months. Alex, that's an amazing testimonial, man. Oh my goodness, I need to be on the phone with you, Alex. How do I get on the phone with you, man? That's amazing. I need to hear your story, brother. Oh man, I'm so proud of you. Like literally, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. I'm on your Facebook page right now. I'm stalking you right now, Alex. Confirm friend request. I get so many friend requests. Sorry about that, Alex. We are now friends, okay, buddy? All right, Alex. Buddy, I can't tell you how excited I am for you, man. And, you know, I know you've spent time with us. I know you've been around for a little while. You've been to our 2-day immersion. I even got you on video. I know you've been doing what you need to do to participate in the growth of what we're doing, okay? He said, I'm sending a video to Jill. Boom! Way to go, Alex. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, I realized that the calls I'm making to bring someone business, I could make those same calls to myself. I did stabilize some things. That's awesome to hear, Toby. That's amazing. I know you were trying to get some things worked out in your life, and I'm just happy. I'm very happy that that's happening. So great. Another testimonial, right? You're working things out. You're learning from this. Alex has done 3 deals in 6 months and quit his job. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Man, you guys make my heart swell right now. That's so freaking awesome. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So guys, really the message today in Habit 3 is about win-win. It's really about taking a very clear understanding of how are you approaching business? How are you approaching life? How are you approaching your relationships? How are you approaching, your deals? How are you approaching sellers and buyers and banks? How are you approaching everybody? It's got to be a win-win. I even talk about this when I'm telling you guys to call banks and call property management company. Think about what they want first. When I call property management companies to get them to send me deals, I don't just say, hey, do you have any burned out landlords that might want to sell their property? I'll buy them. That's not a win-win, is it? That's a me. A win-win would be, hey, property management, my name's Zack Childress. I'm with Landmark, and I'm looking to see maybe that you might have some landlords that just aren't taking care of their properties. I'd love to buy it from them and leave you in place as management. So now you have a better unit, a better building, or a better house that's being taken care of that you can get better rents for it that, you could stay and manage. That's a win-win conversation. I'm always thinking about what the prospect or the seller or the partner or the relationship, what is it that they really want? Right? And can I can I serve them? Because if I can bring value to them and say, look, I'd love to do business with you, and here's how you could win from this, and in return I could win too, then there you go. That's where people get to the grind. Toby says, meeting time. Awesome. She says, meeting time, Jesus Christ. Not in a bad way, but she must be going into prayer. Edward says, how can I help you? Quote. That's right. That is the number one quote that we're going to leave this today on is, how can I help you? You guys know it. You've been following me for a while. When we get on these Facebook Lives, what's the first thing I start asking you guys? Hey, do you have any questions for me? How can I help you? Type them in. Let me know what you need help with. I'm just naturally in that state at all times because I've changed my habits years ago. I've been a student of the Stephen Covey model. I live it. I'm always looking to understand others before to be understood. I'm looking for win-win situations. I work on my personal victories all the time, and to be in an aware state, and to live a proactive life, and to think about the end in mind, and to put first things first. I'm always thinking like that. This is why I love Stephen Covey's book so much, is because I've literally lived my life like that since I've read that book, and it has altered my success. It has altered things in my life. Now, obviously, I'm always a work in progress. My health could be better. I went today to get an allergy test. Didn't realize that I had major allergies. And they gave me 60 of those little dots on my back. And out of 60, I was allergic to 56 of them. So it made me realize, man, I now need to be consciously aware that I'm allergic to trees and grass and dogs and cats and water. I'm allergic to all kinds of stuff that I never thought. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with, being in an aware state of my own personal life, right? And so here's the thing, guys. We're not perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. There was only ever one perfect person that ever walked this earth. And I don't ever intend to be perfect. But what I do intend to be is to be living in a conscious state at all times, to try to make sure that I am doing the right habits that lead me in the right direction, to always be working on me, to always be thinking about others, and to understand, and to win-win, and to be proactive, and to always be living with the end in mind, and to put first things first. These are things that we need to not only embrace as adults if we're not living it, but we need to pass this on to our children. Our children need to be thinking. Here's the thing, I teach this to my children now. I love the school they go to. I raise funds every year for my kids' school because they do what's called the Leader in Me program. And the Leader in Me program is Stephen Covey. It's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but for kids. It's called the Leader in Me program. And our school has adopted that. So they teach the kids 7 habits and how they should be thinking about staying in their own lane, right? And thinking about win-win and doing the right thing. These are things that they're establishing into our youth that a lot of parents were against when we tried to roll it out and raise money for. A lot of parents didn't want us raising money for this because why? They don't understand it themselves. They don't live it themselves. They don't understand how being in that type of process at a young age will cultivate our children into being great people, being great contributors to society, being responsible adults. So I'm a fan of it. I'm a spokesperson of this for our school. I raise money for this for our school. Because why? Leader in Me also offers coaching. So what? I raise money so that the school can hire a coach to come in and coach our teachers on how to present Leader in Me programs to the children and to the parents of the children so that we can encompass this at the elementary level so that they grow into the middle and high school with this type of mindset in mind. So, yes, am I a believer in Stephen Covey and all that he's done? Absolutely I am. All that he's done. I think he's a remarkable individual. So, all right, let's see what else you guys got in here for me today. Give me some thumbs up if you're with me today. If you're enjoying the message, give me some thumbs up. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts. Give me all that good stuff. And let me see what else you got in here for me today. Any more questions come up? Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got a little sad face coming across. I don't know how you put them flowers out there, but I think those are the coolest things in the world. Now, what? Who gave me an angry face? I'm going to get on to somebody. So, you know me and that. I don't like those. So, well, cool stuff, guys. I don't see any other questions coming through. I love all the thumbs up. I love all the hearts. You guys are special to me. I hope you guys are getting a lot of value out of this. We're on habit 4. We only have 3 more habits to be done with this. Whoa! Look at that. That was crazy. Somebody just splattered the screen. Get this book, guys. Follow along with me. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Also, look, call our office. Ask us, how we can help you. We'll be happy to help you. Talk to you, figure out where you want to go. If you need to raise money, do a financial raising money exercise with you so you can go out and do that. Talk about what's going to be the best fit for you. You never know unless you come and ask us. But I would highly suggest if you haven't spoken to one of our student advisors, you should get on the phone with them. You should call out through the office, 707-247-4248, and let them know. Say, hey, look, I'm ready to take my business to the next level. Here's where I'm at. Here's what I'm going through. What would be the best thing for me right now? And so I encourage you to do that. Edward says, I think we need to have a meeting about this. I'm turning red like my shirt, right? Yeah, let's have a meeting about this, man. I think our meeting just happened. That was a good one, man. You made me laugh on that one, Edward. So I appreciate that. Anyways, guys, listen, make it a strong week. Have a powerful weekend. Keep your head high, stay blessed, stay strong, stay committed. Go out and get the book. Start reading the book. Catch up with us, okay? I think it's valuable. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book. Start there and just kind of go through it and catch up with us. We're moving into habit 5 next week. So, hey, if you just joined us for the first time, my name is Zack Childress. I am your real estate coach. Our Tuesday shows will start next week. Our Tuesday shows are at 1:30 Eastern time zone. It's all about real estate investing talk. Our Wednesday shows are our Dig Deeper. We're in a book series right now. After this, I think we're going to start doing some expert interviews. We're going to be digging deeper into some interviews. So stay tuned to that. And I'll see you guys again next week. But have a good weekend. Remember, stay busy, stay active, and stay alive. This is Zack Childress. I'll see you soon.